Jonathan Mann is a teacher and has lived in Santa Monica for 33 years.
We're glad you're watching us on Vote 2012. John, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
If there is a budget shortfall in the next budget cycle, as well there may be, what would be your priorities? What would be the first thing you'd cut and the last thing you'd fund?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would put a freeze on hiring and on wages. Right now, I think the city employees are extremely well paid, and there's problems with pensions that we have to address. That's a very high priority for me, especially with the double dippers and triple dippers that we have in the city. The health care plan has to be reformed. It's people will go to the doctor for a splinter, and that's not really necessary. So changes have to be made to streamline the budget, and I would like to have the budget audited online. I'd like to have a link to the city website where people can go online and look at the budget, and then if they see something, an expense account that's out of control, they can do something about it. It would empower people to have a voice in how the money is spent.
How would you raise money?
Well, raising money is something that the city has been doing too much of. We already have over $500 million in our budget. So if we're going to raise money, I want to make sure that it's spent in a sustainable way. The way the city spends money right now, it's much of it is being wasted. So one of the ways I would increase revenue is by closing down the airport. That would open up a whole, and also get more money out of the pier. Right now, we're not making any money out of that.
Do you think that the city government has pitted the residents against businesses? And if you do, how would you strike a balance between the residents and business? And if you don't, how would you respond to these concerns?
Well, the city does have a priority for businesses, for tourism, for development, and they ignore what the residents want. And I would address that by completely reversing policy in the city to put the highest priority on the residents and to give them a voice in policy decisions by having a virtual town hall on the city website.
What about Measure ES, the ballot measure this year? Do you support it?
Well, I believe that the residents who live here should make that decision, because I have my own personal feelings about the different ballots.
What is your feeling on Measure ES?
I'm against it.
You are against it.
But if the residents determine that they want to have it, I think there are alternatives that we can approach without, raising taxes. And if the residents vote for it, and they've done it before, they've increased taxes on themselves, then I support that.
Okay, city officials believe that the traffic could be reduced to no new net car trips by creating mixed-use centers, encouraging carpooling, taking the bus, and using other alternative modes of transportation, such as bikes. Do you think that that would work?
Well, it hasn't worked yet, has it? And I think the city will throw these ideas out. It's just like when they first had the diamond lanes decades ago. Nobody used them. And the best approach, I think, is to stop doing things like putting planter medians in the road to slow down traffic. And all these calming methods are actually making everything worse. For example, the street I live on, Nielsen, you can't ride a bike on it because there's a big median that they have beautiful plants on, and it's dangerous. So you have to ride on the narrow sidewalk in order to avoid getting hit by a car. So the city's approach to traffic right now is terrible, and it's been like that for a long time.
Well, here's something I know you know quite a lot about, that electronic communications. And the city and community depends more and more on that. But one digital divide that's not frequently addressed is age-related. What outreach could be made to senior citizens to make them more comfortable and access these level of communications, electronic communications?
Well, I'm a senior citizen. I'm 67. And I know a lot of people my age are wired. And the city already has Wi-Fi hotspots. I would like to see that throughout the entire city and be completely free with more terminals. And like, for example, there was a senior citizen Palisades Park, which is being closed down. You could put terminals there at the Edwards Center, more terminals in the library. There's a lot of things you could do, but the most important thing is to have a virtual town hall on the city website so people will just come in droves.
Thank you very much, Jon.
You're welcome.